I've already voted. I'm registered in Washington State, Thurston County. So what I had to do is I requested a ballot. They sent it to me. And then for the mail-in ballots, they need a couple extra weeks to get it counted. So I got it one day. Next morning, woke up, filled it out, took it right to UPS. Took me no more than 20 minutes, and that's only because I rode my skateboard to UPS. I think more than making a plan, it's important to know how you need to vote. So knowing what county you're registered in, knowing that you're registered, all this comes with a plan, but just knowing the general sense of how to get your vote to count, it kind of develops that plan for you. So for me, like, I did a lot of, not even a lot, a little bit of Googling, talked to my parents, and then one phone call to my county office and they sent it to me. I am 22, so this is actually my second presidential election. To me, it is extremely important. I mean, once every 4 years for a presidential election, once every 2 for midterm elections, you get, every 4 years, maybe 2 shots to let your voice be heard. And however, to vote, you get to not only help your life in the future, but also other people you care about. So to me, it's extremely important. One vote, it matters. I mean, you get your voice heard, and in America, it's one of our biggest freedoms, and that's why, I love living here. You have the freedom to vote, and you get your voice heard. There's not everyone in the world you get to do that. Obviously, the president gets most of the media attention. It's what you hear most about, but you're right, when I filled out the ballot, it's been 2 years since I filled out my last ballot, and there was a lot of stuff on there that I forgot there's all these things on the ballot. So there's so many ways to affect, like I said, your life and other people's lives more than the president, because the president can only do so much. All these other smaller positions that people are running for are extremely important, especially for the local side of government. I'm not from South Florida, but I know in my hometown, local government has a lot of effect on what happens in the state. So just based on where you live, like, look around, what could be better, what do you like, and a lot of those things will be on the ballot, so it's important to take those seriously as well. I remember being a young teenager, 13, 14 years old, and listening to my parents. I think when I was 14 was the first presidential election I kind of knew what was going on. And I remember my parents telling me and being very supportive, saying, hey, look, this is important. The world's not all sunshine and rainbows, and some things need to be fixed. So this is your chance to get your voice heard. And that's when I would say when I was about 14, I really noticed, like, hey, this is important. This is something you need to do to get your voice heard. And I credit a lot of that to my parents. They never told me what to believe. They just told me, believe in something and let it be heard. To be an informed actor, in the voting process, it is important because, there's certain things, you're not going to know everything about everything. There's people who study their whole lives on these things. But to at least have a basic understanding of what it is you're voting for, so that way you can get the change you want, or whatever you want the state to stay, you need to be able to understand those concepts, at least at a basic level, to be able to, when your voice is heard, it's heard how you want it to be. Finding the right balance of what is accurate and what is not is an extremely hard thing to do nowadays, because you can go to 2 different websites and get stats that completely contradict each other. So it's important for me, I try to gather as much information as I can and then kind of dwindle down, okay, well, these, like, a majority says this, like, this is right, or whatever it may be. But I find myself with that problem a lot. What is accurate, what is not. It's very hard. I make sure like, whatever websites you're looking at or whatever books you're reading, take a second to see who wrote that, see if there's any bias. Check and make sure it's a credible website. I'm assuming that's where most people get their information. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do, go on the internet. I think it's great. Just be aware of what you're reading and make sure you check for biases, because there's a lot of news and organizations that put out information that just suits their needs, and it might not be completely accurate. So just check it. People who might be on the fence, I'm gonna go back to my parents. They told me, again, I think when I was 18, and it was getting time to vote, and I knew it was important, but I was on the fence of what I wanted to spend my time doing, which, by the way, guys, it's not a lot of time it takes to vote. But I was kind of on the fence, and my parents, my mom specifically, she told me she's voted in every election, and she said she voted for one reason, and one reason only. She wanted the world to be a better place for her kids, and her kids' kids, and her generations to come. So I would simply say, look around at the world right now. If the world you see isn't the world you want, then get out and vote. Make your voice heard.